Okay, for two sample testing, we're going to be testing the difference between mu1 minus mu2 and p1 minus p2. So similar to the one sample test that we did. Okay, we're still going to have our 5 steps, and the test statistics are going to depend on whether we know sigma. Okay, if we know sigma on both samples, so this is 2 sample, just like we had 2 sample confidence intervals, this is going to be 2 sample hypothesis tests. So if we know sigma, we're going to use the z-test. If we don't know it, we're going to use the t-test. So everything's very similar here. The null and alternative, in the null, we're going to assume that the 2 population means are equal. And the alternative, we're going to be testing if one is larger than the other. So we can, again, have a left-tailed test. This will be mu1 is less than mu2. Or we could have a right-tailed test. Or we could have a two-tailed test, okay? Just like with the one sample hypothesis test, we have 3 different types of tests, okay? So dealing with independent samples, dealing with the independent samples, we can have a z-test, a t-test, or proportion. We do have a situation where the samples are dependent, and that is in the next section. After we go through these couple examples, you'll see, down here. Next week, we'll deal with dependent samples, okay? All right, so the next couple examples I'm going to do in the videos, you'll see I typed them out here. They are referred to in the videos a different section number, so I just wrote that here because that's what it's referred to in the videos, so you can follow along there, okay? So when we're doing these, and we have 2 samples, we're still using the same 5 steps, and I'll show you those in the examples. But when we're looking at the alternative, and I say this in the example, when the problem gives you some information, for example, if we're comparing Rhode State students, how far they drive to campus versus Wright State Lake students, let's say, for example. And let's say we know the mean and the standard deviation of these 2. Okay, it's given to us in the problem. What you want to do to determine whether it's left-tailed or right-tailed is write this information and then look what the problem says. If the problem says, do Rhode State students drive further than Wright State, then we'll be testing if Rhodes is bigger. So it would be this way, right? If Rhode States drive further than Wright State. If it may word it, does Wright State students drive further than Rhode State? So then it would be this way. It would be Rhode State is less than. Okay? Whoops, I don't know why that did that. Okay? Okay, so follow along the next couple examples.